Welcome to a new Daily Top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
Non-Americans who have been to the US, what is the weirdest thing about America that Americans don't realize is weird? They have those angry sinks that chop shit. Mine is branded the Incinerator, Smirk. Best damn disposal of all time. Mine has never clogged. I once put a whole pineapple down it. It's the middle of the night. It's dark. Everyone else in the apartment is sleeping. There are 2 light switches in the kitchen. Do you choose the one that turns on the kitchen light, or do you choose the one that turns on the noisiest thing in the apartment? Choose wisely. In my house, the one on the right is the disposal. No problem, just remember, left equals light. Alliteration FTW. However, at my parents' house the left is the disposal. So, right equals light. It rhymes, easy peasy. I have no idea how my stupid brain is able to effortlessly know which mnemonic device applies in which situation, but not remember if I locked the car or not. I'm from the UK, and now live in MN. The first thing is how friendly everyone seems to be. It may be the Minnesota nice talking, but seriously, everyone is welcoming and friendly. The first time I flew to the States, I sat next to this American lady and we got talking. I explained I was visiting my partner for the first time and how nervous and excited I was. We talked until we boarded, and then once we landed, she went into mother mode, let me use her phone to call my partner, went through security and baggage claim with me, even walked me out to where my partner was waiting for me, just to make sure I was safe. She then gave me all her details and emphasized that if anything happens, or if I needed any help, I could call her and she'd help me. I found out she worked for St. Jude's, and even though I never needed to call her, knowing I had someone there made me feel so safe, and I really hope she's doing well today. Call her and find out. I wish I still had her number. This was back in 2019, so I've lost it, unfortunately. Sad face. The fact that looking at the news you'd think they're the angriest, most aggressive people in the world, but when you are there in person they are, with very few exceptions, very decent and welcoming. The media, from news to Hollywood and sports, is not an accurate depiction of Americans. The media really is designed to just keep the country polarized. Your news channels display far too much info on the screen. Don't blink, you'll miss something. Except they repeat everything like every half hour anyway. And none of it is relevant news anyway. Wow. I find this in other countries. Asian, especially, but also holy shit, Japan. Japanese media design is the most busy, messy, font mixing, superlative-laden eyeball screenfest headache. India is the most wild one I've seen. This is only from a tourist side. But I found it weird how friendly you are and how happy you all seem. This is not a complaint. I met a few lovely Americans when traveling through the eastern seaboard, and my cynic British side was struck by how open and excited you are to meet new people. I'm a Brit that immigrated to America many years ago and don't have much of an accent. I was visiting family in Whitby and stopped to get a 99, and as I walked away I heard the young employee say, I really like how friendly and nice Americans are. One of us. Met my wife when she was studying English in the southeastern US. I would say, hi, or, good morning, to strangers and she would ask if I knew them, lol. The irony of this is that I'm a very friendly person from the southern US. Currently visiting France, where saying bonjour, bonsoir is basically the law. I'm so accustomed to just starting a conversation it took a short adjustment, especially the announce yourself coming in somewhere bonjour. ETA, how do they all know when it is 6 p.m. and suddenly everyone switches to bonsoir? Exclamation mark. Always especially excited to meet non-Americans, so it was probably dialed up to 11 for you, lol. We turn into golden retrievers whenever we meet someone with a non-American accent. The gigantic open spaces everywhere. So much space. Read a book once, can't remember it for the life of me. Just the quote that stuck out of, Americans can't understand how old Europe is, but Europeans can't understand how big America is. Quote. That is very accurate. When I'm in Europe I'm like, oh wow, this house, building, whatever is 500 years old. When I'm home, I regularly drive 5 to 6 hours and never leave my state. I think there's a saying, in Europe 100 miles is a long distance and in the US 100 years is a long time. Big everything, from food to trucks. Huge amounts of food. And cars you have to climb into. I'm also looking at you, Australia, McMansions, also looking at Australia. Actual trucks, those for transporting stuff, are also giant and very differently designed in the front part that pulls the cargo. I was surprised how polished and shiny clean they keep them, not dirty dusty like in other countries. I was explained the giant amounts of food are meant to be taken home so you have another meal the next day. And tipping culture, restaurants not paying staff a proper wage so they rely on tips. Went to a deli place once, the ones that fill your sandwich so much with meat that you need a fork and knife to eat it, and got a roast beef sandwich. I had enough beef left over to make 3 more generously portioned roast beef sandwiches that I enjoyed for lunch the next couple days. I lived in California for 3 years. I made more friends there in that time than I did living in my home country for over 3 decades. This is kind of ironic because a lot of people that move to Los Angeles, SoCal seem to struggle with making friends. When I moved to NorCal I made friends the first day. When I moved to SoCal it took me about a year before I had any real friends. By the time I left SoCal my friends were plentiful and they were family. At least it's not Seattle. There's a whole phenomenon called the Seattle freeze where people seem friendly enough, but once you move there, everyone suddenly seems busy and doesn't have time for you. Coffee all the time. I got a tattoo in Barcelona and was completely embarrassed when I asked the artist if he wanted a coffee from next door. He told me, "Oh no, I have to keep working." He thought I wanted to go sit with him for a while. Haha, that made me laugh. Yeah, coffee in the States is a to-go thing while in the rest of the world it's a sit and relax thing. Hearing someone speak with an American accent IRL, my brain just associated it with movies and such. Yes, I work in retail in the UK and whenever we get some American visitors in the store it's oddly impressive. They sound like Vass or something while doing nothing special lol. It's 100% due to my consumption of predominantly American media that I hear it that way though. Always makes me smile smiley face. Reminds me that the world is a big place and that is a good thing. Edit, for everyone who keeps asking, VA equals voice actor, actress. In other words, professional. Well, it's the opposite for us. British, UK accents sound super fancy no matter what lol. Bet they are so happy when they get home and they don't have to do the accent anymore. That was my experience as an American in the UK. My first and primary exposure to Brits growing up was Doctor Who, so my brain kind of broke when I was suddenly in a whole country of people who talk like Doctor Who. The options when ordering food, I thought it was a TV joke. I feel naughty asking to swap chips for mash, but you guys can request pretty much anything. My friend from the Netherlands described his visit to the US as the land of endless choices, which is how Americans like it. I'll never forget when I ordered the breakfast platter in England and the waitress just walked away. I said she doesn't know how I want my eggs. What toast I want. Bacon or sausage. My local companion rolled her eyes and said Americans are so entitled. I was in utter suspense until the plate came. You gets what you gets and you like it. Most places in the UK are happy to swap items out, but you would usually state it when ordering rather than waiting for the waitress to ask. E.g., full breakfast, but could I please have scrambled egg instead of fried? Fried is usually the default for eggs. For toast they usually ask, white or brown, though. You should feel naughty any time you request not to have chips. The tax isn't automatically added to the price shown in shops, restaurants, etc. If I only have $1 in my pocket I'd like to see straight away what I can buy for that dollar, without trying to find out the tax rate and calculating it. To be fair, I haven't met anyone in the US who doesn't also find this extremely annoying. Edit, wow, I did not expect this to be controversial. For y'all's information I live in the US, so I know a lot of people here. And if you're gonna get that salty that I said, extremely, then man you should probably find something better to do with your time lol. I went there for university and honestly Americans just do a lot of little things that are generally nice. Holding the door open, smiling if you make eye contact while walking, randomly saying a quick greeting, etc. Random compliments too, and I never got the vibe that people were just making them up like some of my friends who haven't been say, if someone complimented someone's clothes, hair, whatever it seemed like they meant it, they just didn't seem to hold back the random thoughts and said them out loud. I didn't even really notice the door holding thing after the first few days, but when I went back to my country I actually missed it lol. Not that I ever expected someone to hold the door even in America, but the absence of it and quick smiles was surprisingly noticeable back home. My grandmother taught me it's selfish not to speak a compliment if you are thinking it. Small gifts you can give people to make the day better. Considering I've been riding the high from a random compliment on a shirt I was wearing for 4 years now, your grandmother is a saint. People genuinely run up ahead to open the door for people if their hands are full. Other countries don't have this. Question mark. Americans can strike up a sincere conversation and not be weird about it. No one precedes a question with, sorry to be weird. They don't feel embarrassed if they don't know something. They can listen to you tell a story without jumping in to tell a vaguely similar story related to them. Americans tend to have tremendous social skills, though it's strange because some clearly don't appreciate how fucking nuts they are. I have lived in US my whole life and I have a friend who is really outgoing. When we go shopping at any store, he literally jokes around with everyone that passes by. Even to me, this is wild. I'm generally open to chit-chat, but he is non-stop laughing and playing with complete strangers. It's honestly so funny to be around. I wish I was like this so bad. I'm so awkward. I wish I could make funny conversations with anyone anywhere I go. As a Brit, how amazingly and genuinely friendly you are. How enamored you are with British culture and people. I was invited to a BBQ, in a public place, by someone that I met because he liked the t-shirt I was wearing. I felt like some sort of celebrity. I'm an average guy, but everyone wanted to chat to me. I've traveled extensively and have met many other nationalities, whilst in their country. I've been made to feel welcome in almost all, but how I was treated once my accent was heard in the US was on another level. Thank you for making me feel so welcome. I've had several amazing trips to US. They hold a very special place in my heart. We effing love British accents here for some reason. I had a British client once showing me her office find a door to be unexpectedly locked, and she said, "Bloody hell," right next to me, in real life, and I cannot express how delighted I was. That was like 15 years ago, and I'm still tickled pink by that interaction. Felt like I was in a Harry Potter movie. I love bloody hell, but my personal all-time favorite is when they can't be asked to do something. Even better if they are griping because some lazy person couldn't be asked. Makes me laugh every time.